Shryock here, Major League Fishing Pro, here to talk to you today about line selection on spinning reels. You know, there's tons of different lines out there. You got braid, monofilament, fluorocarbon. You got bait casters, obviously you got spinning reels. For me, on a spinning reel, it's braid all day, every day, all the time, braided line on my spinning reels. Several different reasons why. Number one, braid lasts a lot longer than fluorocarbon or monofilament. It's much more manageable to me. Here's why. A lot of times I'm drop shotting. This bait's actually going to spin around, and I get a lot of coils in my monofilament, my fluorocarbon. And instead of trying to get the coils out of the line, a lot of times it gets so mangled up, you just have to replace the line. With braid, there's no memory in braid, so you can twist this line up as much as you want. It's not going to affect the strength of the line, and you're never going to have that memory. It's not going to tangle around your guides near as much as monofilament or fluorocarbon. Another key thing with using the braid is the sensitivity. If a fish breathes on my bait using braided line, there's zero stretch in this stuff. You're going to be able to detect, you can literally count rocks with braided line. Fluorocarbon's great, and mono works too, but you just do not have the sensitivity. You don't feel the slight little bites. You don't feel the gravel a lot of times when you're dragging a jig or a drop shot through the gravel with those other lines. Another thing, the hook sets are much more positive using braid. Once again, there's no stretch in braided line. It's like a straight up rope. So whenever you do get a bite, you don't need a whole lot of emphasis. You can just basically reel set into a fish. You don't have to jerk them out of the water with braided line, so a lot less effort. It's extremely smooth on the hook set. One more thing, and probably my favorite reason why I like to use braid on a spinning rod, is the casting. It doesn't matter if I'm trying to drop vertically down to a smallmouth, say in 30 foot of water, when I'm fishing vertical off my graph, the line always comes off the spool extremely smooth, does not tangle, does not get the knots in it that monofilament and fluorocarbon does. Also, my casting distance, I've got to say, is probably 30 to 40% higher than what it is if I'm using fluorocarbon or monofilament. The braid's extremely smooth, comes out, the guide's extremely clean, and then once you get that long cast out there, like I said, there's no stretch. You're able to feel everything, and if one does bite that far out, a lot of times when I'm using a spinning rod, it's a softer setup. I'm still able to drill the hook home because there is no stretch. Some people ask about the visibility whenever using a braided line. I'll oftentimes tie a fluorocarbon leader to my braided line about 6 foot up with an Alberto knot, and then I tie my bait. That eliminates any visibility of the fish seeing the braid. So I've got the invisible qualities of fluorocarbon, but I've got the castability, the strength, and the sensitivity of the braided line. This is the only way to go.